probably end up finding out more about your family's finances than you ever thought you would ever share.
Well, and it also, you have to really reflect on all the relationships there and make sure everybody's doing well and everybody's maintaining good communication with each other. Fortunately, we haven't had any issues with that. But I mean, the level of involvement you have in each other's lives is a thing to consider. And if everybody's on good terms, that's good. But you want to make sure that if you're not, you're prepared to talk about that and what needs to be done to fix that before you get into that.
Have to go in eyes wide open as much as you can.
Oh yeah, you're always going to have questions you run into that you're not going to expect, but you got to kind of be ready to be there and vulnerable with each other in a way that you weren't before. But I will say our bond has grown stronger because of it on all fronts, but it's definitely deeper.
Welcome to Home After 50. I'm Juli Ford, and this is a show about reimagining what life can look like in this next chapter. Here we explore home, family, reinvention, and the evolving ways that women after 50 are shaping lives that are meaningful, grounded, and true. I'm so glad that you're here. This episode of the Home After 50 podcast is brought to you by the Multi-Gen Money Guide. If you've been thinking about moving a parent in or combining households with family, the Multi-Gen Money Guide walks you through every financial decision you need to make before anyone signs anything. Ownership options, financing paths, and the conversations that protect everyone. You can get it at juliford.com/multi-gen. Welcome back to Home After 50. I think you are really going to love this episode, and so many of you who are thinking about multi-generational living and perhaps thinking about building a backyard ADU, accessory dwelling unit, will find this very, very relevant for your family. I just came home from visiting my niece, Rhea, at her new home, which is a backyard ADU that she and her wife, Abby, had built on Abby's parents' property. And it is absolutely beautiful. Rhea and I sat down in her kitchen, and her brand new, beautiful kitchen, and had a conversation, just a real conversation about why they did it, about what the process was like, what were the things they needed to think about, what was the build process like, the conversations in the family, all the things they did to save money on the build. It's a really practical, just very real conversation, and I think you're going to love listening as much as I loved talking with Rhea about it. I will have a lot more content coming in the future where I will actually show you some beautiful footage of the home itself. For now, I'm just sharing the conversation because I think it's so good and so helpful, and I just wanted to get it in your hands right away. So enjoy.
All right, what was the best part about building this?
Watching it all come together and seeing the speed of it kind of just taking form in the middle of a hill.
Because it
was all a flat hill before.
Yeah.
And they just cut it in like a day.
That's amazing.
So watching it just kind of rise up out of the ground.
Well, you're minimizing the amount of effort that went into
preparing
for them because you guys cut down 200 trees.
Well, yeah, there were little trees, but...
I think your father would like some credit for helping chop down 200 trees.
He did a lot of trees. He did a lot of wood chipping. Everybody did a lot of wood chipping. My father-in-law, my dad, my wife, my mother-in-law, and I all did a lot of work to get to this point.
How long did that part take you?
Weekends for about a month.
Okay.
So probably cutting, it was about 4 weekends, and then actual chipping was about 3 weekends. Kind of okay.
So, and you said that doing that part yourself might have saved you about $30,000.
Just about,
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, it cost us about $6,000 in chipper rentals and materials
6,000?
No, $600 per cut.
Okay.
So probably about $2,000 altogether that we spent out of pocket on the chippers.
Right.
But that saved us about $30,000 just because of the hill and everything.
So some sweat equity was definitely helpful to the build.
No, for sure.
Okay. So once that part was done, though, you said from the time that they started digging for the foundation, it was 110 days till it was complete, staged, or
till staged. It was 110 days plus a 5-day snow delay because of the winter.
Which actually is amazing because we had such a terrible winter.
It should have been a lot more.
I would think.
I would have thought it was a month.
I had a 5-day snow delay just, doing my laundry.
Yeah, exactly.
It was terrible.
I can't get upstairs.
Yeah, we had a horrible winter here. That's incredible. Okay, so that was the best part, was kind of watching it all come together. What was the hardest part?
I'm rather impatient.
Okay.
and not being able to come in immediately was tough.
Yeah.
Because of the showings.
Okay. You mean not being able to move in?
Move in, yeah.
Yeah. Because you cut a nice arrangement with the builder that saved you guys some money and allowed them to use this as a showroom basically for a month, right?
Exactly.
Which was that was a great arrangement for everybody, right?
Yeah. No, that's been tough.
And like just sitting across, because you're currently living with your wife's parents 30 feet away into their house, and just like watching this house be done and not be able to move in yet.
Tantalizingly close and so far away.
Yeah, totally.
Other hard parts for it. We did the floors ourselves.
Meaning what? You laid the floors?
We laid the floors.
Oh, really?
Yep, we did the floors, the four
beautiful.
of us. We did them in one weekend.
Okay,
just
so that
the
was
four
just
of
another
us.
way to save money.
Yep. Yeah, that cut back about another $5,000 or $6,000.
Okay.
It only cost us materials.
Yeah.
And we got a Pergo Outlast flooring, so it had the underlayment already attached to it.
Okay.
So
is it? What's the material of the floor?
It's vinyl topped, and it's like a plywood base.
It doesn't look like vinyl.
It's wooden underneath.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's a vinyl coating on top. You can see every 10th board is repeated.
Okay. But it looks beautiful, and that will actually be really easy to maintain.
Oh, it's super easy to maintain. It's super easy to clean.
Yeah.
There's not really any upkeep. It's really durable.
Yep.
And we were able to get a contiguous floor the entire way.
Yep. Yeah, so the whole house is
the whole house,
flooring.
Yeah. It's easier to see without the cardboard on it.
Yeah.
But
and actually, I didn't even take note of this when I was walking through, but I'll film some more. But you have no thresholds, right?
Nope, no thresholds.
Okay.
It's so easy to sweep.
Not only that, but so you guys are young, but a lot of people are building these kind of houses for retirement years, and not having thresholds is a huge plus.
Yeah. You can get a walker over it really easy.
Exactly. They can be a trip hazard. Like
wheelchair. Yeah. Accessible.
Threshold list is a good way to go. Yeah, totally. Actually, that makes me think the people who are coming, most of the people who are coming to, because you've had, I don't know, dozens and dozens of groups through the last few weekends.
Hundreds.
Really? Oh my God. So, because there's so much demand for this now. Do you notice, have you been here enough to notice, Terry, your mother-in-law might actually be able to answer that question better because I know she's
I've seen plenty.
Okay, so you've seen plenty of people come through. Are you getting like what the profile of the, like, is it mostly downsizers? Is it young couples like yourselves?
Both ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
It's really, there's a lot of parents coming in with their kids.
Yep. Like young adult kids?
Young adult kids, probably late 20s, early 30s.
Okay.
And it is split pretty evenly between people's parents building it for them and them building it for their parents.
Yes. Yeah.
It depends on who has the property and where they're trying to move to.
Totally. That's so interesting because that's the conversation I'm having all the time, right? Like where people my age especially, sandwich generation, aging parents, young adult kids, there's two problems going on, right? Like helping your aging parents, also young adult kids like you and Abby. I mean, you both have great jobs. Like you've been working and saving, and then you started looking for. So let's get back into like why you did this in the first place, right? Like, so you both have great jobs. You're qualified to buy a home.
Oh yeah, we have great credit scores.
You have great credit scores. You've been saving money for down payment, and you've been looking and coming up with nothing.
And I mean, it's a tough area to look for.
It is. We live in
an
an expensive place.
Yeah. And we're down Cape pretty consistently because of Abby's job.
Yeah. Well, now your job's down the Cape too, right?
Well, yeah. That was less more transient.
Yeah. Okay.
I can move it around a lot easier than she can.
She's
pretty locked in.
The school system that she's working in.
Yeah. She's not the type to move for a job most of the time.
She's a very steady person.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the area we were looking in was almost impossibly expensive to buy in our price range.
Yeah.
Anything that was bought was over asking.
Right.
Every time.
Yeah, because there's such a pent-up demand in that first-time home buyer market.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's nothing available.
Yeah. What was can I ask what the price range was basically that you were trying
We were looking
to
around
find
4.
Okay, 400,000.
Maybe 5 if we could swing it.
Yeah. And it depends, though, depending on who's listening to this. Depending on the part of the country you're in, you can get something good or you can get nothing for that amount of money.
Exactly.
In Massachusetts, it's really hard to get something
tough.
decent.
Yeah. Wages are higher up here too.
Yes,
so
that's true.
Our bracket is definitely
a little
above
higher.
where. Yeah, if we had the same income in another state,
I don't know, Kentucky or something, it'd be totally different.
Oh, we'd have a mansion.
Yeah. Exactly.
But the things we were finding were either rinky-dink little shacks in the woods that didn't
Yeah.
need work for 5 or 6 years, but you had no yard, no room to grow, no storage.
Yeah.
Or they were pretty decently sized, but always sold as is.
Yep.
Needed
Tons of work.
Tons of work.
Yeah.
The one I sent you was
remember
sinking
you
into
sent
the
me.
earth. It was actually sinking into the earth. We put a chapstick on the ground and it went straight for the corner of the room. Like it wasn't slight. It darted like it was its job. It was a problem. It was going down and it was going down quick.
Yeah, I think you shared a couple with me that you were looking at, and
all of them.
They weren't, no, they weren't
Yeah.
good. They weren't good.
Like, you think that's a paint job on the wall? No, that's black mold. That's black mold. That's not a sponge paint from the 70s. Oh, no. Yeah. And then...
So how did the idea for doing this start? So Abby's parents live in a home that they've lived in for what?
30
20,
years.
30 years.
They've lived here
Yeah,
since
they have a lovely
1992.
home.
They built it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they built
their
that on this
home? Okay,
land.
perfect.
That's a whole other can of
Okay.
worms.
But they had, what's the size of this lot? Like about an acre? More?
It's about an acre and a half or maybe 2.
Okay.
I think
Like
it's
in a
1.7.
subdivision, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in a subdivision.
Yep.
They have a lot of land.
Yep.
They didn't have a lot of buildable land, which is why they got the lot so cheap initially.
Because you've got hills and
it's
woods.
often
and
it's all sand.
It's sand. Okay, yeah, this part of the state.
Yeah, it's very
Plymouth is
sandy clay,
Yeah.
which is honestly good for new construction. But we did have to get an extra foot underground to get to terra firma for the garage. So our garage ceilings ended up about
That's
a foot
why
higher.
yeah, but that's kind of an advantage.
Oh, it's
your garage
awesome.
Your
It-
garage feels enormous.
It was an
down
extra
there.
$3,000, and they just poured the foundation higher than they would have.
So how much higher? Like a foot?
A foot higher, yeah.
Okay,
We
yeah.
got a foot more of garage ceiling space because
Well, it
of how
feels
deep the lot
enormous
is.
down there.
It is.
Right.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So it really did. It was a no-brainer
Yeah.
at that point.
Okay. So, but sorry, I jumped ahead because I started talking
yeah.
about the property itself. So how did the conversation start?
We both kind of independently thought of it.
You and Abby? Or Abby's
Parents
and you
and
and
us
Abby? Okay.
have independently
Yep.
thought of it.
Yep.
Um,
Now,
And then-
backstory. I just want to say, you and Abby have known each other for like forever, and you are very
we've
close
been
to her family. So
pretty much together for 10 years.
yeah. So and you've been a part of their family for a really long time.
Yeah,
So
2015.
so you
Yeah.
did have like a lot of understanding of each other going into this conversation.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right?
No, there wasn't really before I moved out with Abby in 2021 to our apartment, I lived here for a couple months.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
to get used to
Yeah.
things.
I just wanted to kind of like
Yeah.
set the
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
Like you know each other well.
Oh yeah, and our families get along great.
Yeah.
I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
Almost half my life at this point I've
Yeah.
known them.
Which is wild.
Which is
Okay.
crazy to think
Yeah.
about. But
Okay, so
that
you
situation is,
independently
yeah.
starts thinking about it. Everybody starts
Yeah.
thinking about it, and then how does the first conversation come up?
they asked us if we were interested
Okay.
as an option. And then reflexively we were like, I don't know. We'll think about it.
Yeah.
Because it is a different path than you anticipate.
Yep.
It's a new way of thinking. It's a very not traditionally American dream way of thinking.
So funny because
Yeah.
that's true for like the last 80 years.
Yeah.
But previous to that,
Oh, it was super
It was
common.
a very
It was
common
everything
normal
you
thing
did.
to do. And
Yeah.
also in many other countries in the world, it's
Oh
just
yeah,
like the
Well,
normal thing. To do.
It was post-war marketing and like
Exactly.
the
Yes.
GI Bills
the
and
GI
stuff
Bills,
that made
the
it
American
very
dream,
easy.
suburban sprawl.
Exactly.
Yeah, the whole thing. Okay. Which
but
used
it's-
to
yes.
be affordable, now it's not.
No, the suburban is not,
It's not.
not affordable. Neither is urban, and
Yep.
rural is getting pretty bad too.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
yeah, it's becoming more and more commonplace
Yeah.
again, and we were thinking about it, and there's nothing of this quality we can get for anything
Totally.
close
That's the thing.
to
I
this.
mean, this is so beautiful. So now you have a brand new build.
We don't have to worry about any maintenance or anything.
And it's super
in the first.
efficient too, right? The way
Oh,
that it's
hugely.
built.
Yeah. I got our first electric bill in. It was like half of what we were paying on our apartment.
Oh my God.
And it was
Yeah.
the full month running.
And it was cold here.
It was freezing.
Yeah.
The heat pump. We have a heat pump in the attic.
Yeah.
It does heating and cooling, and it's so efficient.
I didn't even ask you. Is there access to the attic? Is there storage?
Oh yeah,
up
there's
there?
tons of space.
Oh, okay.
It's a
We didn't go
6-foot
up there
ceiling
yet.
up there.
Oh my gosh.
It's not finished yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna eventually put some board up there, and then put plywood on the floor
Nice, so you can do
all over it.
storage.
Yeah.
Not that you need tons more storage because you also have the garage.
Well, that's the nice
Yeah.
thing too, is we don't have to rush to get it done.
Totally, yeah.
But we will eventually do it,
Yeah.
especially while we're still young and spry to
I mean,
make that
this
happen.
is a very like sort of abundant ADU.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you have
No,
the
this
two-car
is-
garage.
top
you
of
have
the
extra
line.
space
Yeah.
in the basement. You have high ceilings in the basement. You have high ceilings up here. Everything. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy
Yeah.
with it. I'm really excited to move in.
Yeah. So how did you guys start, like, so you had the idea and then you're like, yeah, this would be good. And then how did you figure out who you were going to have build it?
So we both work full time, Abby and I, and Terry is retired. So she was looking into a lot of builders
Okay, she
and
had some time to
running
do some
estimates
research.
by us
Yep.
and things like that, and
Yep.
what things were looking like.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate that she was really able to take the lead on a lot of that kind of stuff.
That's nice. Yeah.
But once we had estimates that were in a price range that we were all happy with, we went forward with BuildX, and it's been really good so far.
That's awesome.
I mean, so far it's done.
It's done.
yeah,
It's
it's all
you just don't live in it yet.
Yeah,
Couple more
yeah.
weeks, right?
Yeah, a couple
Yeah.
more weeks, and then we'll be in and ready to go.
Yay, that's so
so
exciting.
exciting.
It's complicated for families sometimes to figure out, like, the financial aspects of this, because you've got to figure out, like, everybody. So people ask me this a lot, like, I'm not rich, like, how do I do this? And I always say, you have to talk about everything, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of open, honest conversation. There's a lot of what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. There's a lot of getting creative with the finances on it.
Yep.
I mean, if we didn't do the flooring, if we didn't do the tree removal, that would have all brought the price up significantly.
Yep.
We hadn't initially estimated that into the cost. The setback from the street kind of
That threw your budget a bit.
Yeah, so we ended up
Yeah.
about 40,000 more than we thought we were going to be
Yeah.
because we had to make our driveway 180 feet.
You have, and I'll include this in the video, but you have a significant
Oh
driveway.
yeah, it's a 180
Yeah.
foot long
Most people
driveway
are not
with a
dealing with
retaining
that.
wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous.
It's
and it makes
beautiful.
it a lot more private.
It totally does, yeah.
And I think it's definitely in the long run more of a boon than a problem.
100%, but it was
It was a different journey
it was
we were
a thing to
expecting.
deal with. It was a
yeah,
challenge.
the
Yeah.
excavation was going to be a little lot up front,
Yeah.
as opposed to a 180 foot driveway
And
and
that
a
was
dig
because of
into
the
the hill.
requirements of the setback of the HOA
Of-
or
yeah.
the development,
The
subdevelopment
development,
that
yeah.
you're in here. Yeah. Okay. So and of course for everybody that's going to be a different
Yeah.
requirement. Yeah.
And those are things to look into
Yeah.
before you start
Yeah.
making progress,
Totally.
which we didn't have any problem with that
Yeah.
once we figured out what we could do.
Right.
But that kind of shifted the budget and made us have to think creatively in other ways about where we could cut costs.
Yeah. And you also, if I remember correctly, the property needed a new septic system too.
Anyways, yeah.
Okay, it was coming
It
up
was
and
coming up.
needing
Yeah,
that.
it wasn't
Yeah.
urgent. It was probably
Yeah.
in the next 5 years or so.
Yeah.
But so we just doubled up and did one unit for both houses.
Okay.
A 6-person unit for 4 people.
Right, right.
So if we ever have kids or
Yeah. So you
somebody
can
else moves
accommodate
in
that.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so you really have to have those conversations, right? About just like, you probably end up finding out more about your family's finances than you ever
Oh, yeah.
thought like you would
Yeah.
ever share.
It's
but
a
you
level
have to
of
because you have like
comfort,
a
yeah.
legal arrangement here. Like
Yeah.
you both, now both parts of the family have invested
Oh, yeah.
in this property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it also, you have to really question, not in a bad way, but reflect on all the relationships there and make sure everybody's doing well and everybody's maintaining good communication with each
Yeah.
other. And fortunately, we haven't had any issues with that. But, I mean, the level of involvement you have in each other's lives is a thing to consider.
Yep.
And if everybody's on good terms, that's good. But you want to make sure that if you're not, you're prepared to talk about that and
Yes.
what needs to be done to
Yeah.
fix that
Yeah.
before you
kinda
get
have-
into that.
Have to go in eyes wide open as much as you
Oh
can.
yeah,
right?
you're always going to have questions you run into that you're not going to expect. But
Totally. Yeah.
once you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
You've got to kind of be ready to be there and vulnerable with each other
Yeah.
in a way that you weren't before.
Right. Right.
But I will say our bond has grown stronger because of it.
That's cool.
On all fronts,
Yeah.
but it's definitely deeper.
Well, you've also
Yeah.
been living together in the house for like, what,
Yeah.
6 months now? About 6 months
yeah,
now?
just about. We moved in the beginning of September or October.
Okay. Yeah.
September.
No, that's
1st.
more than 6 months now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving over here is actually going to be more separation.
Independent. Yeah.
Independence. than you've
Yeah.
been
Well, I
having.
think we did a bit of an immersion therapy in a way. You can't avoid your problems if you're staring them right in the face.
That's a good way to
And
put it.
I think that genuinely has made the coming over here afterwards much more, I don't want to say enticing,
Yeah.
but more of a separation than currently.
Yeah.
And it also was a huge savings. I mean, it's an extra
Well, you
$2,000
did
a month.
save money on rent for the time that you were building.
Our
right?
rent was almost $2,000 a month in our last place. So in 6 months,
there's
that's another 12
grand.
grand, or at this point, almost 15. So that's another 30 between the showings and this that we were able to pull together.
And so you've had number of different things you did.
Yeah, you got to think of everything.
You made, contributions that you made, sweat equity that you put into it to save a lot of money. Really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of financial discussion and a reliance on one another that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
Which is scary, but it's also honestly been very very nice to have
because you can
really.
you got each other to lean on.
You have each other to lean on.
Yeah.
So you're also not just doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
Or your partner.
Yeah.
So you got to think kind of bigger and think in a way that everybody can compromise and make it all work.
Yeah, totally. I wonder, have you guys had any conversation about like the future, like 10, 20 years from now? Would you ever, I'm making this up because I haven't talked to you about this yet, but I know some families do talk about this. Would you ever house swap later on?
We've talked about it. People fall on both sides of the fence. It hasn't really crossed our mind yet because we haven't even gotten in here.
You're so far away from
it's so far down the road.
Terry and Kevin are young. Like it's
they're not.
Yeah,
they're not.
They don't have to live on one level.
No, it's not a mobility thing at the moment for them. They're climbing mountains.
But maybe in the future.
A
long time.
For sure.
Yeah.
And especially if one of them were to die earlier, to have a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house for one person seems very hard to maintain.
Right.
So it's definitely down the road kind of conversation.
It's always an option to talk about it.
Well, and I also think that there's a level of ownership that you lose and gain in a situation like this, where you sort of lose an independence in a sense that you're thinking more about the collective, but at the same time you are getting an ownership of the whole picture.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is our thing. This is our group. We all have to work on the yard. We all have to fix it up.
Yep.
Because it's much more disruptive than you think going in.
Like in what way?
Of the landscape.
Oh, the landscape.
So, that's actually another setback.
That's interesting. I was talking to another builder about that, and he was like, basically, prepare to have your yard destroyed.
Everything that could have been disrupted was. So Terry and Kevin have
They have a lovely yard.
They did at one point. I'm sure it will get back there one day, but it's not a little summer fix up. It's knock down, drag out. We're going.
Okay, everything's
going.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Terry had a beautiful garden.
She used to have.
She did have a beautiful garden. We still have the fence for it that we're moving into a new location.
Okay.
That has opened up because we took the hill as backfill.
Yeah.
So we got to move that back because it's basically in the middle of our bedroom if it were still where it was.
Okay.
That all had to get resituated and moved.
Yeah.
And that's still being moved. Every bit of grass was trampled on, shredded by excavators and everything. So they had to reseed. The whole front hill is now different. It's not worsely. It looks great. Yeah. That was just a dirt hill before.
Okay.
So on a sense, that looks really good.
That looks improved. Yeah.
But in comparison, because that looks so good, everything that was disrupted looks X amount worse.
Bad.
Yeah.
Extra bad.
So that's going to be a group project over the course of the next couple of years.
Now you're all going to work together.
Oh, hands on deck, baby. We're making it happen.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good like. Just be warned. Word of
Kevin's patio also. They have a patio.
Yeah.
Our water line, because we had to cut it in so early in the season, would have been through the street because our water is on the other side of the road.
Okay.
We tapped into their water line.
Oh, okay.
Because we looked at the bracketing for pricing on water, and it was going to be cheaper for us to do that in the long run than to actually cut in our own.
Okay.
But having said that, it comes out directly in the middle of their patio. Oh. So we had to take all of the bricks from half of the patio up, put them off to the side, and Kevin painstakingly reset them.
Oh my God.
It didn't take a long time. It was probably a couple of days of labor to reset them.
Yeah.
But maximum damage. Everything that could have been disrupted was.
Yeah. So you just have to be prepared. Like
be
it's
prepared.
almost like every decision like creates another potential disruption.
And always have a backup plan because things happen. Sometimes your water gets cut out because they need to tap in the water line.
Okay.
Our Fios cable got cut on multiple occasions by excavators or people just driving over the driveway because it cuts through the bottom of the driveway.
Okay.
We lost cable twice and Wi-Fi twice.
Oh, okay.
So always be ready for
all the disruptions.
No, there's a lot, but we always made it through.
One more thing I'd love to ask you about, because Abby has a brother.
Yeah.
Is people ask me this all the time, like, and I've had these conversations too, because your dad, who's my brother, also does not live in my multi-generational home with my mom, your grandmother. So we had our own conversations about, how combining resources with Grammy was going to affect him or not, right?
Yeah.
And but for every family, it's different. Because there's just so many unique individual situations. But I'm assuming that you had to have conversations with Abby's brother too about what all this meant potentially for him or not.
In the long term, a lot of them were more. The plan was always that we would kind of end up in the house because they already had a house by the time they were established, and our housing situation was a little more in flux. So not a lot had to change because of the way the arrangement already was. But there were conversations, and they went honestly very smoothly. Luckily,
I think it's often those like what if conversations, like what if mom and dad die, or what if what does that inheritance look like, or what do the legal things look like? You have to think through all those things.
Oh yeah,
right?
A lot of the conversation actually was around if something were to happen to Abby, what would happen to me, because we're in their yard. And what is what does that look like?
Abby who's chatting around Europe right now.
Yeah, exactly. What does that look like?
I'm making it sound more glamorous than it is. She's
on a school trip.
15 teenagers.
16. They're stealing lemons from courtyards and such, but they're causing mischief.
To Italy? Okay.
I guess. But a lot of that was not more my concern, but I was just sinking into
That's an interesting thought, right? You have to think about those things.
There is a level to it where you have to kind of say, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I agree with you. As much as I tell people, you have to talk about these things and plan for them, you also cannot predict every single thing that might happen in life.
And in that, it really depends on what the situation's looking like and how far in we are. If we're already paid off at that point, because we're projected currently to pay it off in about 15 years.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, which would be awesome.
Mortgage.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's all fixed interest rates and everything, so there's not a lot of fluctuation there. Which is super handy for us. And then that's 15 for everything. A lot of our loans pay off in 10 or 7.
Okay. And you put all this together financially by accessing different.
Yes, we have a home equity line of credit.
Yep.
We have a couple smaller construction loans, personal loans. All sorts of stuff.
Okay.
Individual savings for us.
A menu of options for how to piece it together. Yep.
And don't limit yourself to one.
One source of funding, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. I think you can get creative around which parts of the family have access to different options, right? Savings or financing or,
There's always a way to make it happen. It's not always, yes. Yeah.
There's often a way to make it happen.
There's always a way within a limit to make it happen.
Within limits. Yeah.
But don't close yourself off to any of the potential options, and don't be afraid to ask the questions that you wouldn't normally ask.
That is great advice.
But there's going to be opportunities, and there's going to be struggles that are going to come up that, like the situation where if something were to happen to Abby, what would happen?
Yep.
It really depends on what's going on when and what things are looking like.
If you had children,
if it's tomorrow,
if
something,
paid off. It might all look different depending on.
It looks very different than when we're all paid off, because if we're all paid off, I can definitely support this on a single income.
Right.
And then,
but if you're not,
figure out
what does that
mean?
Yeah.
Fortunately, I have a very close relationship with their parents.
Right.
So if something were to happen, I'm not desolate and on the streets. Obviously.
Right. You're not gonna get kicked out.
Yeah.
But I love that you guys talk about that and you talk about it, right? And you also recognize that you don't have one perfect answer for every potential scenario. You can't.
You can't, and you won't. And there's a level of accepting the gray area that you have to hit.
Yes.
Where there are going to be things that matter to you that you didn't think mattered, and matter to the other people that don't matter to you.
That's a good point.
And It's never discount what matters to them, but also never be afraid to vouch for yourself either.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any final words of wisdom, advice for people who are thinking about this? And especially, let's say people in your position, right? Like young couple who are trying to figure out, like, how does this look for us? Like, how can we get into home ownership? How can we get a home that we love and potentially combining with family? Like, what's your parting words of wisdom to people who are in a similar position to you and Abby?
I would say, even if you have an initial, I don't want to say shame, but a stigma attached to it.
Yeah, like, we can't do
Oh,
this.
yeah, we're moving into our parents' house again.
Oh, okay.
That's not what the situation is.
Yeah.
And I think you will be stronger for it and more supported for it in the long run.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're not making it, you're just making it a different way.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Love you.
Love you
Excited
too.
for you.
Yeah, I'm excited for me too.
Thanks so much for joining me for this episode of Home After 50. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And I hope that if your family is thinking about multi-generational living or possibly adding a backyard ADU, that you found this conversation to be helpful. Certainly, it was very real. And I think that Rhea and Abby and Terry and Kevin's experience here can definitely be a good insight for other families as they consider all of the things that they have to decide and deal with as they approach this adventure that is multi-generational living. One thing I wanted to point out is that Rhea and I talked a little bit about how they financed the home. We didn't get into deep detail there. I like to respect people's privacy, but I love that she pointed out that there was a combination of things that worked for them and that they didn't just confine their financial explorations to just one option. And I am going to be hosting a multi-generational home financing workshop next month in May, and I will have more information on the date of that and how you can register for it soon. It's a free workshop. I think it will be very helpful if you are considering this path. So stay tuned on that. You can always go to my website, juliford.com. Make sure you sign up for my newsletter so you can get notices when we announce that, and I'll be sure to announce the date here on the podcast as well. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time. This episode of the Home After 50 podcast is brought to you by the Multi-Gen Money Guide. If you've been thinking about moving a parent in or combining households with family, the Multi-Gen Money Guide walks you through every financial decision you need to make before anyone signs anything. Ownership options, financing paths, and the conversations that protect everyone. You can get it at juliford.com/multi-gen. Thanks so much for joining me for this week's episode of Home After 50. If this episode resonated, please make sure you're following and subscribing so you never miss a thing. And you can find more resources at my website, juliford.com. See you next time.